Well, thank you guys for stopping by here. And of course, well, not of course, I'm stopping by here to do a video on something that I've been wanting to do a video on for not a very long time. Obviously, it's been probably a good 2 weeks, maybe even a week. So I wanted to do a video on something very similar to this. Come on, Jay, too funny. Good morning, Cornelia. How you doing? Thank you, Jay. So I wanted to do a video on. Make sure I'm not shiny and shit. So I wanted to do a video on a very, I would say, important topic to me. Or talk about a very important figure, okay? Because of course, a lot of his movies I enjoyed, and as we mentioned before, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on, and I wanted to give my insight on. No, not right now, honey. I wanted to give my insight on other situations very similar to this, but of course, everybody jumped on a damn bandwagon, and I said, "Oh, next time." So, of course, just so happened, like not even a month later, another situation happened. And of course, I'm here to talk about it. So, of course, I'm going to do this a certain way. Everything is everywhere. Of course, before I get on here, a lot of people do not know, I instantly go into prayer and I ask Spirit to just let things come through to me. And however it comes through, it comes through. And sometimes I try to like control it and but we're not going to do that in this video. So, many of you know me, many of you do not. I'm sure this is going to bring some new people to the channel. How you doing? So anyway, my name is Mia, also known as Mystic Persia. And of course, Mystic Persia is the alias that I use for the spiritual purpose. But outside of that, you can call me Mia. You can call me whatever you want to call me, because it's not what you call, it's what you answer to. How you doing? So I don't like to give myself these titles like psychic, clairvoyant, clair this, clair that. I like to give myself the term vessel, spiritual vessel. And I like to use even, jokingly over the phone with people I talk to personally, I call myself the spirit tamer because, of course, I know energy, and that's the only thing I honestly know. And outside of that, all other things fall into place. So, like I said, as I'm sitting here, things are coming to me that could be pertaining to the person that's in the title of this video, but it can also be about other things, that's going to come after this. But either way, so I'm using this video as a way of, I guess you could say, vlogging, because when I get into this session, which is already it's already been started, I actually have notes on things that I've already picked up spiritually. And of course, going into, John Singleton, I'm familiar with his movies, like I said, and his life. So, of course, I've done my research on his background that's public. So with the spiritual thing that I'm going to do, there's going to be some hidden stuff, or should I say, I'm going to talk about some things that are not seen with the natural eye. And if I feel like it's too public or too private, I'm not going to discuss it publicly, because I learned my lesson before when I've done this before. So, hey, it took a while to do this again. I've done this before on my other channel that is no longer here. And I said some stuff that I should have kind of just watched what I said. And anyway, so, I don't want to be elaborate, so I'm stopping myself. So with this, like I said, I've already wrote down some notes, and I'm going to go off what I have already written down, and then I'm going to talk about what has come up outside of what's on the notes, and also possibly even pull up some cards to see what energy is there that I'm not able to clearly focus on. And of course, if you do not know, if you're new to this, tarot reading, tarot cards, Ouija boards, all these things are tools to help focus your energy. That's it. But if you can read with tarot, you can also read without tarot. As I said before, I'm a vessel. I don't call myself a psychic, clairo, this and all of the bullshit. I'm a medium. I channel energy. Honey, we all channel energy, honey. Somebody call you a bitch, a hoe, or a trick. and you're not in that mood, honey, watch how quick that energy changes. You tell me you're not a channeler. Okay. Tell me you're not a medium. Who you doing? So anyway, so I'm going to go into this. And of course, this was going to go into some other stuff as well, because I believe they died on the same day. Tony Braxton, or the Braxtons, they have a niece that passed on of a heart condition very, very young. And yeah, it's a very, very sad situation. And like I said, there's not too much information about her on the internet. I wanted to look up birthdays and all that good stuff, but I guess I didn't do enough digging, and, I'm not that girl to sit there and be Googling show day. Obviously, that's why I'm not a commentator or I don't deliver news. Okay. So I don't have time to sit there and look up shit and go to blogs and, look up people's birthdays and all that. So if it's not on Wikipedia or it's not on a source that I can go to that's reliable, then like I said, I'm not going to look into it. So we're going to lightly possibly touch on that, but I want to focus on John Singleton. So the title of the video says John Singleton, the Gatekeeper, because John Singleton was a Capricorn. And to me, because of course you could be zodiac wise a Leo, but very much have a lot of Cancer energy around you, or Sagittarian energy around you, or Taurian energy around you. So either way, John Singleton was a Capricorn, but he had a lot of Gemini, Mercurian, duality. I will even say almost masculine, feminine put together. And I would say more towards on the masculine side. And even going into pulling up the numbers. And of course, I'm talking about what I'm feeling intuitively, because I've never sat down with John Singleton. I've never met John Singleton. I don't know what he smelled like, in the wake world. So I'm everything that I'm saying here is what I'm picking up intuitively, what I've seen spiritually, and my interpretation of that. So even going into the essence of me seeing spirits and all that good stuff, as I mentioned before, I've never been able to see spirit like, as I can see this computer that's in front of me, but I've actually felt energy and I've been able to interpret it, or I guess see it through my spiritual eye and give off exactly what I'm feeling. So either way, let's go into, and I know I'm going to kind of go everywhere. It's not in any particular order. And we're going to go into this. So, of course, he was a Capricorn. He was born on January 6, 1968. And going into his numbers, his lifetime number totals to be 4. That is with stability, building, and foundation. And then also going into the day that he died, 4/29/2019, which was on a Monday. And this is very important. This is why I'm going into this, and I'm assuming this is why I wrote this down first. 4/29/2009 comes out to the number 9, and John Singleton is actually connected to the number 9 very, 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 very heavily. And of course, something is coming up now that I don't want to talk about, or I don't want to speak about, because I feel like it's not public just yet. But also something that comes up right now is he has a daughter named Justice Maya Singleton, and even going into her, I'm going to lightly go into her as well. But there's some good things coming for her outside of what is going on privately with her dad and the state and all the good stuff. But the day that he died on 4/29/2009 was the 9, and that also was on a Monday. And John Singleton is actually connected to the moon, and I'm going to explain that. And then, like I said, his life path is number 4, and in between 9 and 4 is the number 5, which is also very important to, mentally note that. So he was born in the Capricorn season and passed away in the ending of the, in the beginning of the Taurus season. So you have the Capricorn, which is the sea goat, and you have the bull. Now, I talked about this before about spirits being released, and one of the spirits that has been released into this realm is a bull type spirit. And I talk about this to people because there was a TV show called American Horror Story, and I can't remember her name, Gaborni. I want to say her name is like Gaborni. I want to say really exotic, beautiful Black girl. She actually had sexual experiences with this bull, and this bull just so happened was a part man, part bull deity. And he was, African slave that Delphi, the racist bitch, honey, made him. So either way, that's not important. So I'm not really trying to go into that. So the spirit that bull is representing, or that person is representing, is one of the spirits that has been released into this world. And some people, when they see it spiritually, they see it as, I guess you could say, an ox. Okay. So going into John Singleton and even Lauren Braxton, dying in the season of the bull. You may not see it as something, but I see it as something, and we're going to keep moving. So, of course, going into the number breakdown of John Singleton's name. Now, we could break down the first three letters of each, his first and his last name, John, J-O-H. We can also break down S-I-N, and we know what that means, error, the mark that is missed, a mistake. Going into John, that could be kind of like togetherness, creating, probability, taking a chance, taking a risk. So, like I said, his number breaks down to the number 54. 54 is 9. 5 plus 4 is 9. Going into his numbers that are heavily on him, like his name, his children's name, his wife, his dates, his movies, it all connects to 9s, 5s, 7s, and 3s. And of course, 3, 6, and 9 is the same exact number. So going into his name, like I said, is 54. His destiny number is a number 9. And of course, if you do not know, the number 9 is linked to Mars. It talks about humanitarian. It talks about aggressiveness, but it also talks about a gentler side. So I feel like he had, two sides to him, almost like a Gemini. He had a very sweet, innocent, caring side, but he also had a very arrogant, I don't give a fuck, I run this type of personality. And I feel like that's what kept women away from him, almost to the point where people accused him of being gay, because he had a lot of guy friends and he only hung out with guy friends. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone tried to come out now that he's passed on and say that they've done some gay stuff with him. I personally don't feel like he was gay. I personally feel like he was into anything, homoerotic. And that's just my personal feeling on that. Going into his soul number, it is the number 2. 2 is connected to the moon. 2 deals with, of course, femininity, calmness, easygoing. And like I said, that's the nurturing side of him. Going into that, he was a very smart, intelligent, two-sided man, as the moon. The moon has a light side and a dark side that they claim that we never see. Okay. Going into his personality number. Okay. That number is the number 7. Okay. Number 7 is connected to the planet Neptune. Now, this comes up for me very importantly because John Singleton has a lot of history, and the things that came up for me and that are coming up for me with him is a lot of medicine. I see a lot of doctors, alchemists, poison control stuff in his family. I see a lot of inventors as well, but I see it more so on the pharmaceutical, in that area. And we're not talking about like taking herbs and extracting it and making it into, medicines. But I mean, actually, when people started making synthetic forms, I see his family or that lineage being a part of that. Okay. Even going into, him, I felt like he was a very secretive person. He, had a lot of secrets, and even going into some of the secrets that he had was important. I mean, things are coming up now that I honestly felt like if it would have came out that he possibly would have been behind bars and serving some real serious time. And of course, going into even past mistakes. And of course, we all have mistakes. We've all made mistakes. But like I said, there was a lot of, secrecy, mysticism, and very intuitive. In fact, I feel like he moved in his career based on intuition. And something that comes up for me is when he was 24 years old, I believe he was the first person to be nominated for the movie that he produced, Boys in the Hood. And even going into that, 24, and if you break down the numbers in that day, like these things created a step for him, spiritually speaking. And of course, coming into this life, and even the numbers, like I said, that are around him, outside of the sevens and the nines and the twos, 36, 34, 33, even 365, like all these numbers that comes up with him that I'm seeing and that I'm feeling, or should I say that he vibrates with, they all dealt with things that he was here to work on. And this is why, even going into acting, and I tell people, directors, the director's job is to flip a switch inside of a vessel, kind of like a puppet master. And it is the artist, the actors, or the actress to actually channel that energy. So together, they create give-take relationship. Like, I'm going to give you this and I'm going to take this, and so forth, so forth. So even though the director and the producer, feeds, or people think this, even though the actors and the actresses feed the camera, their energy, their emotions, it is still the director's job to still feed them as well, to I won't say guide them, but keep them in accordance. We'll keep it at that. Okay, we'll keep it at that. So going into, like I said, planetary rules that works with John, or that he was involved with: Mars, the moon, Neptune. There's also a lot of Saturnalian energy there. And as I said before, I see people as assuming that he was gay, or done, homoerotic stuff. But I see him knowing people that have done that stuff, and even possibly even have, stayed in the background. We'll keep it at that. Because like I said, it's something that comes up that I don't want to talk about yet, that I feel like is going to come out soon. I would say within the next year or so. And of course, when it come up, maybe I'll come back and I'll talk about it. Who knows? But born in the Capricorn season, resting in the Tauran season, dealing with the bull that is here to collect, and also, a lot of people talk about Mammon, the ox deity that people are sacrificing their children to, and that's something that also comes up in connection with him. Not saying that's what he was doing, but for whatever reason, I'm speaking of what energies I'm feeling, what things I'm seeing spiritually, and that's what comes up. There was a lot of Taurus stuff there, even going into kinkiness and kinkiness in the logic of, or should I say, in the realm of, this is why he was not tied down with someone faithfully in only one person, and we'll keep it there. So, like I said, 7, 9, 4, 5s, medicine. I see a lot of serpent stuff there, and I think that comes up for me as far as the medicine symbol, the Kundalini energy as well. I think even his obsession with the ancient Egyptian stuff. And of course, he had a lot of connections with that. Going into, like I said, alchemy and chemistry and, poison and all this other good stuff. And I feel that spiritually, and even probably in his life, he had something to do with that. Maybe he donated money to companies like that. But that's what came up for me when I was, first getting into this stuff, trying to see exactly what energies was around John Singleton. So somebody who comes up a lot, and this could be possibly some Libra energy here, but he has many children. I think there's 5 children, and one of his or one of his kids, well, she's a grown woman now, Justice Maya. She was coming up so much in this, and I'm not going to say that she was his favorite daughter or his favorite child, but I'm going to say he actually connected with Justice before she was even brought into this world, even going into the sense of them having many connections with each other prior to this incarnation. And even going into the numbers that I pulled with Justice, her life path number is the number 3. And like I said, his number is the number 9. And 3 is 9, or 3 times 3 is 9. So you have 9 being 3 to the third power. That also deals with manifestation. That also deals with creating, right? Procreation. So in the sense of this, I feel as if justice was almost even a thought form for John Singleton. She was almost even a thought form. Like he literally, plans the pregnancy and even the day that she was born. And of course, the only people that can confirm that is Justice's mother. And of course, Justice, if her dad ever, shared that with her. But going into that, she has a lot of 3s with her, 3 also being connected to Jupiter. So 3 is a very prosperous, expanding, forever growing number. It also deals with the higher planes, right? So we're speaking of energetic, the neck and up. So once again, that tells about the throat, the thoughts. It tells about the Merhaba energy. It tells about past connections. For me, and I speak for me. Going into her death number, she's also a number 3. Her name breaks down to the number 30. That's a 3 again. Her soul number is the number 5. And as I mentioned before, in John Singleton, between the number of his birth, right, his birthday being simplified to 4, and the day he died being simplified to 9, between 4 and 9 is 5. So once again, there's a great connection there. Even going into this number, and this is kind of a side note, the number 5 is connected to the Mercury, the planet Mercury. And this is another reason why I feel that John was or had a lot of Mercurian energy around him, to where it even came up with his daughter. And I will even say this too, the planet Neptune and the planet Mercury has a lot, there's a lot of common stuff there. And what I'm going to say now, which I won't heavily go into, is something that is human history and a lot of ancient, astronomers and astrologists know about. But Neptune and Mercury is what brought into the existence of the aquatic beings on the planet Earth that are still here deeper. But even us, we're underwater somehow, some way. And I won't even go into that. But either way, Neptune and Mercury is so connected. And for those who are into deities and like the Orishas, Oshun and Yemaya being sisters or being daughters, depending on the story, Yemaya being Neptune and Oshun being Mercury. So like I said, there's great connection there. And, even going into the sense of Mercury in the water and, Neptune, Nephilim, and, all that good stuff. A lot of stuff you look up, NEP deals with water and your strong feminine energy, which once again connects you back into Justice, her personality number being the number 7. So she being connected to Neptune, Mercury, and Jupiter, while her dad was connected to Mars, the moon, and Neptune. So he was and I always tell people this, spiritually speaking, when a man's first child is a daughter, that is a man who is very in tune with divine feminine energy. When a man's first child is a son, something he's done up to that point, and it can even be his life scheme or assignment, that he does not respect and or honor the divine feminine energy. And it's not about the oppression or man hating or, oh, fuck men and all that, because we all love men. I know I do. Okay. But it's about the fact is that all things have come from feminine energy and all things will return back to that. Okay. So it is the masculine energy that plans, that strategizes, that hopes, that waits. But it is the divine feminine energy that moves, that creates, and that is constantly with the creation every step of the way. Even in the sense of when women get pregnant, they carry that child within them for 9 to 10 months, right? So John was very much into the divine feminine energy, and he respected the divine feminine energy. And that's why he was blessed to have a daughter as his first child, and a very smart one at that. So there's a lot of connections with Justice and her father, and her inheriting his estate. That's probably the best thing. Not saying that his other children wouldn't have been, great beneficiaries or rulers of that. But like I said, Justice came up a lot with John. A lot, like a lot. Like it was a lot of, JM, JM, JS, JS, JM, JM. And like I said, almost even to the point to where they balanced each other out. And I even think going into that Justice created some type of balance into John's life. And that's it. That's how I'll talk about as far as that go. Now, of course, I want to give I want to focus my energy. As I said, there's a lot of stuff coming up. There's a lot of stuff that I'm feeling, a lot of stuff that I'm seeing that I can shout out. A leopard. I see some birds there. I see a big pool. I see the obsession with rocks, and it's like these weird shaped rocks. I see a lot of vegetation. And once again, medicine. I see a lot of, just crazy stuff, like to where I feel like I'm in some type of lab. So just like I said, some things I wanted to blurt out to kind of calm my stuff down. Even going into connections, because I know this is going to come and people are going to talk about, what he passed away from, I believe it's had a stroke. But I feel like that the stroke that happened was a complication of something else. I don't feel like the stroke happened based off of like a health condition or, he had hypertension and that triggered the stroke. I feel like there was something less sinister. And what comes up for me is allergies. I don't know why that comes up, but even when I first heard about it, allergies and mucus and mucus being connected with your heart and how your mucus, if you're congested up here, it triggers down to here. And even everything that happens here drips into your chest. And of course, pneumonia and all that good stuff, that's also connected to the heart. So I feel like with that, that it was something, more minor that triggered that. So if you're one of those people that's curious about what happened, like I said, I don't feel like it was, poor diet triggered that. I feel like it was something less sinister, and it triggered that, and it turned into, his demise. Okay, so I want to pull some cards, and I want to see what is not being spoken about, what people are not going into. I'm only going to pull this one time because, of course, we can, I can keep pulling and but there's some things, there's many things that are not being discussed. And like I said, I was even chatting about this with a friend. Things come up for me, and I could be minding my business, sitting in my bedroom, laying on my bed, sitting on my bed. Hell, I could be sitting on the toilet. I have to be honest, I could be sitting on the toilet. And while I'm in this moment of solidarity, honey, solidarity, same thing, things come to me, right? To where, jokingly, I used to tell spirits, leave me alone while I'm shitting, honey. Leave me the fuck alone, okay? But things are coming to me about someone. I want to say February of this year, probably up until March, right? So February, March, and April, and now we're in May. These 3 months were very spiritually revealing for a lot of people. So something came up. One thinking about this individual at all, and somebody played a remix to a song. And I'm like, I don't know why this song stands out to me. And the person who was there was like, no, that song is standing out to you because you grew up listening to that song. I don't think that's it, though, because there's a lot of songs I grew up listening to that really don't stand out to me. Then this being a remix, like it's really hanging on me as if it's the first time I heard the song. Well, YouTube shared a channel with me that was dedicated to doing something, and John Singleton popped up. Right? This was February. He popped up. Okay. And my friend, I can call her to verify that she could be a testimony to this. John Singleton popped up. And I actually told my friend, we should actually do a movie night. We should cook and watch like Poetic Justice, Janet Jackson being ratchet and shit with her big ass box braids, doing that ghetto shit. And, so I was like, yes, we should do that. Well, he came up on this situation, but he also came up on another situation that happened years ago as well that last year we dealt with. So I'm like, why the fuck is John Singleton coming up so much? Like, why is he coming up so much? And sure enough, even when something else happened with Nipsey Hussle, yes, somebody mentioned something about Nipsey Hussle, and I think they jokingly said John Singleton producing something, and I believe this was on YouTube somewhere. And then to literally see that this happened, I'm like, that is so crazy. And I'm not saying that Spirit was showing me that it was his time to go, because of course, if that's the case, when you get insights of people or Spirit brings something to you about a person, then we can all assume negative and say, oh my God, they must gonna die because I just thought about them out the blue. But I definitely feel like something greater is coming. And I feel like when John Singleton first came out into the industry, he brought something and he created and established something amongst people. And I even feel like he connected people. That's why for me, when I think of John Singleton, the word gatekeeper come up, even like what I'm feeling with him, like a gatekeeper, someone who's standing there in a doorway or entryway, leading someone or ushering people into the next step. So at this time and the energies that are going on out there, and we're not just talking about celebrity death, but we're talking about personal energies that everyone is feeling. And even the fact that the new moon was in Taurus. Oh, come on, boy. So I feel that he, spiritually speaking, because I see things with spirit eye, not the physical eye first, that something is being ushered in. Something is about to change. And I'm just going to keep it as that. Because like I said, when I start going into talking about things and I just, things happen, and usually it's not so good. And I don't want that. That's just something I don't want. I want to keep it cute and what comes up, come up. Okay. So I'm going to pull some cards. And I'm going to go into those who are in here watching live, and I want to read what y'all are saying. I see some of these people. Yes, I see J Angels. Come on, TC. Yes, come on, J Al Quavi. Yes, come on. Yes, honey. Yes, Poetic Just. You know about that, honey. Come on, Quavi. What do you mean, my bull spirit? We'll talk about that. So I want to go into this, and Capricorn's been coming up a lot lately too, honey. Haven't the Capricorns been coming up a lot lately, honey? How many of y'all know a Capricorn? I thought I was going to show y'all my Capricorn candle. I don't know where the hell I put it at. How many of y'all know a Capricorn? Oh, it's over there. We just bought some Capricorn candles too. How many of y'all know a Capricorn or two? Listen, I want you to do your research on Capricorns. I want you to do your research on what is going on. What planet is in the constellation of Capricorn? Or should I say, what planet is in the constellation of Capricorn? Let's get into that at this point in time. Okay. So I want to pull some cards, and I want to see what these cards are going to reveal about John Singleton, born on January 6, 1968. Him being the creative, reincarnation of many, many powerful teas, and we won't go into that neither. But we just want to see some things about. We don't need to see everything, but we just want to see some things that are not being mentioned now, and possibly maybe even deliver a message to. His children, if they ever see this, or, his daughter, Justice. Yes, and that's such a beautiful name too. Justice Maya. I love the name Maya, Maya. A lot of my deities have that. Maya. Yes, honey. And when I say Ma, I don't mean motherfucking, ooh. So anyway, so let's pull these cards. Let's see exactly what's going on, and we're going to go into exactly what we're seeing and what we're feeling right here. Oh, okay. We see some T's here. Okay, there's something. Oh, okay. Something about, okay, some cancer stuff. I don't know who that cancer is. Something about a cancer. There's a cancer, and I'm seeing this cancer uh, looking like a crab king, queen or king or something. I don't know what that is, but kind of being over some weird shit. I don't know what that is. We'll just say a box, a lock box, and like a crab type of spirit, part crab, part. I've never seen that, honey. I would just say it looks like a ooh, part crab, part something weird. We'll just say a hybrid crab of some sort, and she's over some crazy a box, a locked up box. So I want to see what exactly this is, and even what else is coming up with the situation. And we're gonna lay the cards down right here. Okay, there's three cards that come up. And the first card that comes up is the Three of Clubs. The next card is the Seven of Hearts. And the last card is the Ten of Diamonds. Oh, and a card fell out, which is the J of Clubs. So what I feel with these cards pertaining to him, going into the Three of Clubs, there was something with an argument, a misunderstanding. And I feel like it comes up with this guy, this J of Clubs. And this J of Club person is a very sneaky person. I don't know if John Singleton has a brother, but I almost feel like this is someone that has it's gonna get nasty. It's someone that he has cared for. And this is not, I don't think this is a child. I see this as a brother. I see this as a brothering person, someone that he see as a sibling, not as a, I gave birth to, this is my child. Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that. Going to the Seven of Hearts, of course, this is a good card. What I love about the Seven of Hearts is, or the heart card here, this deals with relationships. Okay, this deals with relationships. This deals with whether they're public, intimate, personal, friendship wise. And with this card right here being next to the Ten of Diamonds, of course, 10 being a very powerful high number, even going into the diamonds, business and or situations that are kind of being done on the flip side. I honestly feel like with the Seven of Hearts that's dealing with John, that the Seven of Hearts deals with him being too nice. I feel like this relates back to this guy, the Seven of Clubs. Him being too nice, him giving up too much for him, caring for him, sacrificing a lot of stuff for this individual. And once again, I do not see this as a child. I don't see this as a son. I see this as someone that he views as a sibling. Going even into the diamond card, the Ten of Diamonds, being in relations to the Seven of Hearts. With the Ten of Diamonds, I see this card as being a celebration of some sort. I see this as something being revealed, something being given. I see this as even possibly the guy, whoever this guy is, coming forward and giving something, we'll just say the gift. I think that box with the crab, I feel like this is dealing with this person, with this man, and he fell out the cards. I wasn't even trying to deal with this person. He fell out the cards. And yeah, this is a very useful minded, not really mature, possibly grown, but not really mature individual. So something is coming up with that. Something is going to be revealed with that. And I would even say going into numbers and what's possibly when is this going to all come to the light? When is this going to be known? When is this going to, okay? So we have the ace and then we have the 2. So I would say anywhere from 2 to 5 months. This is going to come out 2 to 5 months. And once again, there's a lot of 2s around John Singleton. There's a lot of 5s, a lot of 7s, a lot of 9s, and there's a whole bunch of numbers that came up for him as far as like the days he received his awards, what TV shows he created. Like there's so many numbers that come up for him. And of course, him being a very high vibrational being, these things coming up for him or these numbers being connected to him, it's not shocking for me at all. So that said, I'm like really, really hot. I'm like, honey, I want to just take off this damn wig right now because girl, okay. I want to answer a question that Quavi said. Quavi said, what do you mean by a bull spirit being unleashed on this earth? Because bulls have been coming up a lot lately. Yes. So there are many things out there, and bulls have been coming up a lot for a very, very long time, Quavi. And I paid attention. And I think someone even asked me about like deities that are bulls. Like, what does this mean? Blah, 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 blah. My spirit is a bull, and da, 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 da. And I explained to them that there are powers. And of course, you go into the Bible, the Shekinah and the eagle, the man, and all sorts of these beings of tribes, right? Or these beings metaphorically representing tribes of individuals or people. But there is a spirit, right? That, like I said, and we can call it Baphomet, the horn, because people always equate horns and hooves to fucking Satan and Lucifer and all that stuff. And it's just like, girl, like, the devil looks like a lot of spirits, just like you look like a lot of motherfucking spirits. And we talked about this before. It is impossible for everyone to look like their own individual person when we live in a universe that duplicates itself off of itself. So everything has been duplicated upon its own duplication. And this is where the idea of clones and people, oh, that must be his clone because he looks very different and all that other bullshit. And I would say this too, even in the sense of us, we, you and I, changing our physical self in our life. People may have known this as being chubby with dark hair and dark eyes, and then you lose weight, and then you dye your hair, and you start doing a whole bunch of shit to you. People are like, oh, you look very different. But you, in fact, have pulled on somehow, some way in the ethers, a duplication of who you originally was. And you're still the same person, though. So going into that sense with this bull spirit, that is one of the things, that's one of the spirits that is being released on, or that has been released on this planet. And that's why a lot of stuff is going down. If you look into the news publicly right now, as of May, right? And we're in the season of Taurus. If you look at what has happened leading up to right now, look at all the crazy shit that has happened. And we're not even talking about last year, we're talking about this year. So far, even before April even came, how much weird shit happened, what exactly happened. There's a spirit. It connects back to a spirit. And that's the only way that I could explain it without saying too much. But of course, if you're spiritually in tune, because of course, we're talking about spiritual eyes, people who have the eyes to see will see, and those who have the ears to hear will hear. Everybody's focused on what they actually can see. Like, well, I don't see it. I don't. And it's like, this is why you're not seeing anything. This is why you're not seeing these spirits or these energies being moved, because you're so stuck on the tangible. Like, if I don't see flesh and bones moving, it's not real. And it's like, that's the problem. That's the issue. That's what's going on. Is to cut off that. It's to cut off your consciousness. It's to cut off your spiritual awareness. Because in reality, when you're aware of spirit, you're aware of who you really are. Right? When you're in tune with spirits and energies, and not just ghosts and goblins, but when you're in tune with energy, period, you're in tune with yourself, because that is becoming spiritually aware. So that's what it is. Like I said, I can't go into that. Quavi, I encourage you to do some meditation, close Do some deep breaths. Ask your spirits that are there with you always to give you some insight on what exactly I'm talking about. To place it upon your heart, place it on me, spirit. What exactly is Mystic talking about this bull spirit? I want to see it because bulls have been coming up for me. These bulls represent something, and watch what happened. Keep a journal, okay? Yes, okay. Yes. Come on. Yes, come on, TC. Bulls are also used as a symbol of Wall Street for the stock market. Bulls are associated with a lot of stuff. And this is why the money, the money is about to change because we're so fixated on the dollar, the pound. Well, we don't really talk about it. Over here, we don't. The dollar. Something is changing with that too. Everything that is connected, and mark my word, I believe I'm the only one that's saying this, that something or everything that's connected with the symbolism of the bull is being shifted right now. And this is why things are being created and things are being destroyed. Going even to how people bring up, we could even bring up the Chicago Bulls. We could bring up how Michael Jordan has come back into the picture, and people, compare and contrast his fame to LeBron James and all this other bullshit. Like, girl, who gives a fuck? Who cares? Only people. Anyway, I don't want to go into that. But anything that is connected to the bull, I guarantee you, is being changed. And that's that, right? But you also have this, the next thing that's going to change is a lion type spirit, right? That's the next type of spirit that's going to be released and shake shit up. Okay, so right now the bull is here and the bull is doing what it's doing, and the other spirits are there, but they're not making that big of a rumble. It's kind of like, you see the lightning and you're like, okay, I don't hear the rumble. Then all of a sudden you hear that boom, 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 and the lightning come even bigger, bitch, and you might get struck, right? You might get stricken down by some fucking lightning, but that's what's going on. So that's all I'm going to share. You have the bull, and you have that spirit, that we'll say that feline spirit. It'd be panthers, it'd be the lion, it'd be, the jaguar, anything that appears like that. That's how that spirit is going to move. Mark my word. Mark my word. MB, we're going to talk about before 2021, January 1st. Okay? Yes, honey. Come on, the Toro. I know that's right, Teddy the Toro. I know that's right. Come on, Lotus Flower Bomb. Who you doing? How about this? So we're going to do before I close this out. Do anyone here have any, I shouldn't even say it like that. Any questions that does not pertain to oneself? How about that? Anybody have any questions that pertain to something that deals with something they're curious about? And we're not even talking about like spiritual, pulling up cards on stuff. We're just saying, we're just having a conversation. Any questions? I think Kwavi got a lot of tea. Kwavi got a lot of questions. Kwavi, go ahead and ask that question, Kwavi. Okay, go ahead, Jay. Yes, come on. Oh, there you go. And the new Lion King movie is coming out. Which then brings me into the next spirit. The next spirit is a water spirit. How you doing? Okay. Come on, Jay. Let's see what Jay gonna say. If you're hearing that noise, I'm sitting on my little tea, honey. It's making all that noise right there, honey. Ta-da. Come on, TC. I know that's right, honey. Any tea. And of course, I feel like I want to do a part 2 to this. I want to go in and I want to explore some more stuff with this. And I mean, as far as when things come out, then I want to talk about more stuff. That's what I do, because it's still fresh. It's still fresh. And the freshness that the things have been discussed, it's kind of like, okay, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's only been, about a good week, a week and a half. But like I said, going into the moon, him being connected to the moon, he died on the number 9 day and him also being connected to, like I said, the moon. He died on a Monday. The 9th was on that. The 29th was on a Monday. Okay. So yes, come on, Magic Cat. How you doing? Yes, honey. Thank you, honey. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow. So should I do more spiritual story times or experience story times? Quavi. You've been binge watching. Thank you, Quavi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Will the spirits with you kind of match up with an ancestry test? Of course it would. Yes. It's so weird that you say that, Jay, because somebody had a spiritual reading. Ow! Come on, God. Come on, God. Won't you do it, honey? That's nothing but the spirit of God. Nothing but the spirit of God. Someone came to me young, came to me. And like I said, when I think about this person, I think about myself, because when I was young, I had hunger for spirituality because I said, bitch, you know, everybody else is into everything else, drugs, partying, sex, friends, who got the latest shoes. Bitch, I rocked Payless, Walmart. I rocked fucking secondhand clothes, shoes. Bitch, I didn't care about materialistic because, bitch, I knew that, bitch, the day that you go, you can't take none of that shit with you. And even to this day, bitch, money has definitely changed greatly. And I'm still, bitch, I'm still doing that because, bitch, at the end of the day, you can't take none of that shit with you. So why falsely excite your spirit about something that cannot go when your spirit leaves this body? That's the most important thing. So, like I said, when I was young, I was hungry for spiritual growth and spiritual insight. I was just so hungry. And I remember I used to be, in my room by myself. I was a loner. What do they call it? Alone. I was just not lonely person because I loved it. I loved my own company. Even at some job, I love being by myself. I live by myself. I see people for a few hours out of the day. Bye-bye, I got to go home. I love being in my own space and with myself and feeling myself and seeing myself. And that's why I feel like my gifts and my spiritual stuff is so strong because I didn't let other people rub off on me. Even at a young age, like people have their inside about shit. I'm like, bitch, I don't claim that. But people out there that are young, like I have 16-year-olds, and I told you this woman I met, her 9-year-old niece watched my videos, and I gotta remember that, and the 19-year-olds and the 20-year-olds, and I'm just like, I remember that was me. I remember that was me. I remember that I was just like, honey. Like, I'm ready to get into the world, God. Please keep me protected. Please keep me level-headed. And I know the only way to get that or to keep that is spiritual. Because, bitch, can't no gun stop certain things, bitch. Can't any... Girl, bye. I won't get into that. But they asked me, Jay, sorry about going into a little tangent and a little rant. You know how I am. They asked me, well, they asked about their spiritual reading. I gave them a spiritual reading about the spirits that were with them, right? And they hit me up, I want to say like 3 or 4 months later, because I tell y'all, it's going to make sense down the line. Anything I tell you in a reading, in an interpretation, it's going to make sense down the line. Don't be quick to say, mystic, bitch, because people get like that, very combative up front, like, what you trying to say? Because I'm really not a hoe mystic. I just got a lot of guy friends, and yeah, we have fun. Yeah, what a dog. I'm just saying. Well, they asked me, or they hit me up. They asked for spirits with them, but they hit me up and they said, Mystic, I found out that my ancestors, my family is rooted. They originally came from a part of the world that one of the spirits that you say is with me was venerated. They had shrines and altars with the spirit. And I kid you not, I felt that. I felt in that message, I felt electricity go up my damn spine. People say I felt chills. That's an electrical current going up your damn spine. And I said, oh my God, I know how excited this person is feeling for getting that information. And that made me feel good. It made me feel good because that's what I love doing. I love connecting the dots for people, because that's what we're here for. We're not here for who's the best spiritualist. We're not here for who's the most powerful. We're not here for that. We're here to trace back our steps with things that have been lost and misinterpreted, and some things have been kept, or it's in the wrong hands. The wrong people got the wrong damn information, and that's what we're here for. We're here to trace our steps back into awaking something that's been shut down because it's still there. We have cells and codes within our bodies that is being affected every single day by the food we eat, the water, whatever we put in our bodies, and the people we're associated with. Because, women, as I said before, I brought this up, when women, and you can use this as an example with women, when women have their menses, right, there is a polarity effect that takes place within that being. And it's a purging of energy, but it's a build up of new energy. So it's a releasing of old energy, but it's new energy coming into that body to prep that body scientifically for a new being of coming in there, right? It's preparing the body for ovulation. But either way, when a woman is on her period and she starts hanging around with a lot of other women that their cycles are all over the place, they will all, especially if they're always in close contact with each other, they will all have their period around the exact same time. And typically, the most powerful one, the one that is most in tune with her body, okay, that means she knows her vagina. She doesn't just let any and everybody up inside of that. She don't just, she treats it as what it is, okay? She will cause everybody else's body to align up with hers. So that's one way of talking about electrical currents and how when you're around people like you or around people, period, how your own electrical storms could change. And that's why we say, if people don't vibe with you, it's okay to let that go, because you feel alone right now because you're finding your spot or your place in this universe, right? Because it's not just in your city. It's bigger than that. It's not just in your state or in your country, because you're meant to mingle with people all across the world, all across the globe that are just like you. That's what you're meant to. That's why we live in a free range world. There's not no walls that stop us from going to London. There's not no walls that stop us going to South America. There's not no, when you touch on a person who's not your color, you get shot. Like, there's none of that bullshit. So, like I said, when you're around people that you vibe with and you care for, it recharges you. But I can't remember where I was going with that. I just lost it that quick. But either way, I'm so happy. They're going to be actually going there. They're going to be tracing back their lineage. They're going to be spending time over there, and I'm excited for them. So to answer your question, Jay, yes, the spirits that are with you can definitely be linked back to your genetic, your heritage. Because as I mentioned before, you had a great grandmother or great grandfather, because it's not always the maternal that are the most spiritual. It could be the paternal as well. So you had a great great grandmother, great great grandfather who devoted their time to a spirit, whether it was knowingly or unknowingly, because there's a spirit over money, there's a spirit over sex, there's a spirit over drugs, there's a spirit over alcohol, there's a spirit over idiocracy, there's a spirit over all that shit, there's a spirit over everything, right? Powers and principalities and motherfucking authorities, okay? So you had an ancestor who was powerful within our way, because they I won't say were into themselves, but they had a lot of thoughts with themselves. And even some of them probably even knew it too. They devoted, they venerated privately, and they offer things up. And the spirit was like, honey, I'm going to bless your lineage. You give so much to me, I'm going to bless your lineage. And some of our grandparents and great, 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 great grandmama and great, great, said, I'm giving you up. I'm giving you my aunts. I'm giving you my descendants. I'm giving you my seventh son and seventh daughter. And those are the people that stay up. Those who keep that within a family, I'm just going to talk about it, because you don't become wealthy because of race. I tell you, there's wealthy Black people out there. So don't fall for that bullshit where they say that white folks are the people that become wealthy. Don't fall for that bullshit. There's a lot of successful people, period. I always bring up white and Black because that's the biggest concern in the world for whatever stupid ass reason. I don't know why. But in my world, bitch, if I ruled this world, bitch, there would be no colors. Bitch, I will wipe all y'all asses clean so y'all all can look how y'all really look. Bitch, you'll see a shrimp face, bitch. You'll see an ape face, bitch. You'll see a giraffe. You'll see a rhinoceros. Bitch, you'll see this half ape, half goat, bitch. Like, that's the shit that I would love for y'all to see. Like, not this old bullshit. Oh, I see a Black woman. I see a white man. Oh, I can't get down. Like girl. But anyway, so your ancestors have gave something to something, and that spirit lingered. And those who have seeked it, right, who have sought, excuse me, not seeked it, sought after, or they wanted the answers knocking and it opening, you've been matched up with someone who's able to say, hey, this is what spirit is with you. And as I tell y'all, when you find out what spirits are with you, when you get a spirit reading with me, you know, really, really take that serious and really, really, really do your research and really go beyond what Google is telling you, what people are telling you. Because if you go within yourself, right, because that's what it's about, meditating on the words. When you go within yourself, something unlocks and you start to create a connection or a pathway, and things come to you where you're like, honey, and we're just talking about this, TC and I, we're craving. You start craving certain foods that you've never craved before, or when you start eating these new foods, you develop like your senses are heightened. Like, bitch, you're intelligent. I mean, you've always been intelligent, but girl, you like all of a sudden you're addicted to looking up, mathematicians and all this other good shit, and maybe you never had an interest in how things are made, and all of a sudden you're, I always wanted to know how to say that. Like all of a sudden these things are coming into you, and of course there is something within your DNA, okay, your cellular memory that is awakening and is connecting you back to your roots and it's connecting you back to who you really are. And that's why I tell people, you cannot just stop at your mama, your daddy, your grandmother, or even your mother's mother. It goes deeper than that. A lot of y'all look Black now, but you have Asian ancestry and you're not even aware of that because you're so narrow-minded and you're so weak for whatever reason. And you're letting people tell you about who the fuck you are. Can't nobody tell me who the hell I am. Because one thing about my family, on both sides of my family, maternal and paternal, we kept our culture. We kept our lineage. We kept the stories of our ancestors alive. And even to this day, on my mother's side and my father's side, we have Facebook groups that's dedicated to educating us on our family, of pictures, old pictures from the 1800s, 1700s. Like, it's amazing. And I think about that, like, how was I blessed to be born into a family like this, to even be aware of that? Because a lot of people be searching, digging. And it's just like, whoa, that's the reason why I'm grateful. And I feel blessed, regardless of how my life is currently. Like, I feel blessed. And what I mean by currently, people say, well, you're not really that blessed because you tranny. Bitch, I don't mean nothing, bitch. I can get your daddy and your mama too. Who you doing? Call me. But anyway, so yes, sorry about that tangent, Jay. But yes, honey. Yes, principalities and authorities. I know that's right, honey. T, what's that? That's out of fear of most spiritual people and high priestess that use their cycle for manifestation. I know that's right, Lotus. I know that's right, honey. That's right. It is constantly powerful. I know that's right. Most religion fools make women on their periods a nasty thing. Right. Well, we all know this too. The religious or the religions that make, women on their period a nasty thing. Now, you have to see what the base of that is, right? And what I mean by the base of that, you have to see if they're speaking about it because the woman's body is more open, right? Like I said, you have to look at the base of that. Now, we know in Christianity, it talks about the woman menses is disgusting or dirty because we know that in the Christian religion, they want it to be patriarchal. It's about the man. It's about the tallywhacker. You look up Peter, St. Peter and shit. That's St. Penis. You talk about Jesus Christ. You talk about the holy nut, honey, the holy semen. No tea, no shade. I got to keep real with y'all. When you talk about the rising and 3 days of being gone and stuff in the tomb and all the other stuff, honey, it gets really sexual. And then you wonder why the spirit of perversion is in the Catholic Church. And you wonder why the spirit of perversion is even in the Christian church. You got pastors out here having sex with children too, and prostitutes and all this other good stuff. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the prostitutes, but I'm saying when the spirit is suppressed and the spirit is mistranslated, new spirits are introduced, and those are the spirits that are taken in. And those are new spirits that become a part of someone's belief system. So then you have someone who has the most, so let's give you an example, the most high being love and respect and being all-knowing, omniscient, omnipresent, not male, not female, just loving, powerful energy that could be light or dark. If you have a man or a woman who cannot comprehend that and then try to place their interpretation of this being. Well, this is how I think this being is, so this is how I'm going to teach it. So now this becomes a part of their belief system, which is not accurate, but that's their own interpretation. And then they go out and they share it with the world. This is my view of the Most High. And then they write these books, and then people who are too naive or too ignorant to think for themselves, they adapt this as well. So then they start pulling the spirit in, and then the spirit multiplies. So now the spirit was originally one because it was one man that believed it. Now it becomes millions upon millions upon billions. And then, as I said before, one person in particular have about anywhere from 800 to 8,000 spirits with them. And we're going to talk about 800 because 800 is something that is tangible. And we're about tangibility, right? Okay. So if there's we'll say there's 200 million Christians. I don't know if that's true or not. You have 200 million Christians that believe that the same God that created beings out of love and understanding will hate and turn his back or her back, or his back on these beings because the flesh got in the way. But yet this being gave them opportunity to come into the flesh, to live out these desires, because we all know that the flesh is always challenged. And this is why the flesh does not go with us into the next cycle or when we, pass on or transition. It stays. It is the weakest thing that we will ever have. We bump our finger right now, bitch. You could die from bumping your finger. You could die from slipping and falling. Bitch, you can hit your head gently on this door, honey, on a pillow, bitch, on a girl. There's just crazy shit. This body is very fragile. So, like I said, it's spirits that are mutating, and they're mutating because of the belief system of the people. And that's all we mentioned in the other video about Poseidon. And people are like, I don't think Poseidon, or I don't think that Aquaman is Olokun. I think Aquaman is somebody else. And I'm just like, well, I think the old presentation of Olokun, because people didn't have the information like we had, they had what was told to them. And even I think then, people gave stories the way they wanted to give. So they fed people the false Olokun, and they kept the real information to themselves. But now we live in the age of information. People can go out and research and do their own thing and go visit, go out and do what they want to do. And then now they get a greater understanding. Then they start venerating Olokun, and then now Olokun transform into something different. And that's for a lot of stuff, not just Olokun, not just, Poseidon. There's a lot of spirits that have mutated and changed in appearance and in power because of the people that's venerating. And even going into, venerations of spirits. You could take an African god and whitewash it, and now that spirit is now European deity, and people will assume that this not European, Nordic deity is separate from this African deity, when if you do your research, the original version of that deity was in fact African. And we're not saying it to the sense of saying that she had dreadlocks, that she was African, how people say African Americans look. We're not going to say that, but she was definitely African envisioned. We'll say that. And through the false teachings and or people giving out their own interpretation of what these spirits are, there's been a mix-up. And that's why I say it's so important to go to authentic spiritualists and people that have stayed with their culture and that know their culture, not self-taught spiritualists, because a self-taught spiritualist is going to read something that they do not understand, and they're going to give you their own interpretation of that. And in that process, they're going to feed you what they could only receive. Because like I said, our reality is based off our own perceptions. So now they're reading something that possibly was an opinion, and they're taking on as their own truths, and now they're sharing this false information. Versus people who know the real world, who see the real world, who have the ability to tap into the real world, and they're out here saying, bitch, that shit ain't real. And then the motherfuckers who don't know it, it's like, well, bitch, that shit ain't real. What you talking about? Because I went on YouTube.com and a girl said that Olokun was really a woman and she had purple hair. Like, okay, well, I want you to go over there and tell them over there on the continent of Africa. How about that? You go tell them that over there, bruh. How about that? How about that, bitch? You go dig up that library over there they got with all that tea, and you tell the motherfuckers who wrote that shit what it really is. How about that? Better. How about you go to the bottom of the ocean, bitch, because it's all down there. See, they can go down there, but they're telling y'all they can't. It's all down there, bitch. It's all down there, bitch. They're not telling y'all how the ocean floors are moving and shit. That's why they call it the ocean floor shelf. Can we talk about it? A shelf is a what? Okay, hello? So they're telling you the truth, but they're not telling you the truth. So like I said, you go down there, honey, you will see exactly what you need to motherfucking see. Bitch, they've always been there. And like I said, honey, you go down there, you go to that statue, that's what it is, honey. Okay, how about that? Yes, most of these tools, yes. How long after death can a person get reincarnated? I can some tell me they did Reiki on someone who reincarnated in birth immediately after death. Okay, so I would tell you this, Lotus, and this is another thing that I'm not really a fan of. These spiritualists who are a part of commercialization. Um, I personally don't care about being a commercialized spiritualist or commercializing something spiritually to get more people to like me or to come out and get a service. Because if it's in your heart of hearts to get information or to get certain things, you can feel when something is really going to help get you to the next level. And people who are authentic don't have to advertise and make up these fake stories to get you to like it or whatever. But going into that, how immediately after someone dies are they able to reincarnate? For sure. And I'm telling you this off of history and off of my own experience, and what I've learned is that it takes 40 days. Okay, it takes 40 days for you to shed the old memories of what you had in this realm. So 40 days after someone passed, their energy is much stronger here because they're reliving every moment. And I know you've seen this in movies, TV shows like American Horror Story. And I got to always bring that up because I love that show because they talk about so much spiritual stuff and people overlook it. But in that show, remember when the Supreme Witch died and she kept reliving this thing over and over? She went to hell and she kept revisiting over and over those moments like that led up to her last life. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. It was driving her nuts. That was her own interpretation of her own guilt. She felt guilty with that. So she had to keep living that over and over. And that's what happened during those 40 days. It's called purgatory, where the spirit relives all the things that they possibly have done that they're guilty of, that they feel remorseful about. They experience all things. If they ever hurt people, cheated on people, mistreated people, disrespected people, they live those last 40 days. And we're talking about 40 days within our clock, because for them, it could seem like forever. And this is why we light candles for them and we pray for the dead in those 40 days. To keep them strong and to keep their energy there and to also give them comfort, because it's like you going through a cycle over and over. And I have not experienced death in this life, obviously, but I've had interactions with spirits that have passed on, and even have my own experience with my sister, my flesh and blood. So that process, like I said, is very, very fresh to me and it's very known to me. So it takes 40 days to go through that process, okay? And some people who don't have it in the 40 days, in certain circumstances, they have a little longer. But after those 40 days are over, then there's a process of building yourself up, right? And when I say build yourself up, either after the 40 days of purgatory, you've released all the shame and all the guilt. And oh my God, I wasn't good enough and nobody liked me because I was this. I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have did that. That you're either going to immediately reincarnate, or you're going to have the opportunity to graduate and do something different, right? And maybe incarnate in a whole nother dimension, a whole nother time, a whole nother space. Everybody's not going to reincarnate here on this earth as human again. You might be something else somewhere else, right? And that's for those who can accept that. Because everybody's going to say, what the fuck is this talking about? Okay. But if someone die and they're forced into immediately reincarnation, that usually happens when they do something like committing suicide, when they do something like slowly killing themselves. Because once again, those 40 days of purgatory deals with you reevaluating yourself on things that you felt you could have done differently. And this is why they say don't go to bed angry. This is why they say don't live in guilt. This is why they say don't live in shame, don't live in regret. The Bible talks about it, the Quran talks about it. There's a lot of scriptures that talk about it. Do not live with regret. Do not live in fear, because in those 40 days after you get ready to transition, all this stuff comes up for you. And if you have not got over it while you're here, you're gonna have a problem getting over it during that time, and you're gonna be forced to come back and do it all over again. And when that process happens, you're not gonna reincarnate in a safe space. You're gonna reincarnate in a worse place with the same scenario. And this is my own understanding of this. Okay, because of something that used to boggle my mind. Like I would sit here and think about it over and over and over. Like I remember one time, like I was probably like 14 years old. I think I told you the story. I was so depressed, and depression is really a really, really dark place. People say that metaphorically speaking, but depression is really dark. And this is why I don't make fun of people who are there, and I really tell them if you can't shake yourself about that, which is very simple to do, then you should go get help, because that place is very dark and you're so close to that, I feel, abyss, honey, that you think about all the stupidest, like weirdest shit, like death and da 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 da. So for me, I was thinking of me passing on and me being in this darkness forever. And I would just think, like, forever? Oh my God, what happens forever never ends. Forever doesn't end, bitch. What I know is forever. Oh my God, forever is fucking forever, bitch. Forever is forever. Could you imagine if people been on this planet for 250,000 years and somebody's still in complete darkness? Like I was thinking that, y'all, like it drove me crazy to where I didn't even want to go to sleep, because I was like, bitch, I can't think that. It was crazy, y'all. It was real crazy. So I got up out of that. And of course, in that process of me wondering, Spirit stepped in and said, that's not how it goes. And that's why I shared on my other channel, when you first pass on, you see light. And then, for those who go into light, then you go through darkness, and then you just keep spiraling down. But those who are actually really exiting out the correct way, you go through darkness first, and you go through all the little things that may come up that need to come up. Like anything you've held on to, you wasn't good enough, you wasn't a good mom, you wasn't a good daughter, you wasn't a good this, you want to get that, and that stuff comes up. You relieve it, you release it, and then you come into the light. And when you come into the light, things start to come back to you, kind of like you're waking up here, but you're not. You're somewhere else. So with that question about people reincarnating immediately, how soon do they, let's go out, because I was getting to that, honey. Hold on. How soon, hold on. Let me see, honey. How long after death can a person get reincarnated? Yes. So that depends on the situation. Like I said, from my experience, I shared, exactly what I know to happen, that's been, talked about religiously, and what I feel, because I've experienced it. I've had the opportunity to get a glimpse of how things operate. And then even after you come out of purgatory, for my sister, it was 5 months, as I mentioned before. It was actually 4 months and some odd weeks going through that purging and letting go. And that's why I was there for my sister. Like even in death, like in life, I was there for my sister, but even in death, I was there because I didn't want to be selfish. Like I didn't want to be like, my sister's passing on, and oh my God, I don't want to say goodbye yet, blah, blah, blah. And oh my God. I didn't want to be that way, because even during that process, they will feel as if they've done something to you, because, spirit or the subconscious mind does not understand, do not or do. It just feels. So when you're getting emotional and you're crying and you're getting that, like the spirit is like, did I upset you? Did I do something wrong to you? What did I do to hurt you? Like, so they're confused. So like I said, I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to to put that confusion out there. And that's why I went in and I did that work. And people are like, oh God, what do you, and I did a lot of tea. And like I said, after all that was done and to get a glimpse of what happened, as I mentioned, going through the process of, I was in an elevator. I went up in this elevator, came into this white room with marble flooring. It was very cold. Like I felt like almost I was in an ice box. And, there being a council of people in all white, bald, with no skin, with no hair or anything on them, all being like colorless. That's all I can say. Yeah, colorless. They had no color. And to experience that and see my sister, and I knew who she was, and whatever this person was in between us, I don't know if that was a man or a woman, because like I said, I couldn't see no breasts or anything, but my feeling was it was a woman, was trying to say like, y'all don't know each other, you don't know who this is. And I'm like, and my sister's like, I do know who this is. So anyway, like I said, that was insight, I believe, for me to let me know that she has now went through the process. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to stress about it. And she has flew on. A lot of people, and I will say this, a lot of people have had relatives that have passed on, and they're ghosts. And they're Roman spirits. They're not at peace. They're not at peace, and they may not ever find peace because of the guilt, and this is why it's so important for us to go back into the ways of our ancestors and respect the spirits and give the spirit space and give the spirits love and venerate spirits as if we venerate the living. Why in my mind, I'm thinking we give accolades and accomplishments and rewards to those who are living, right? Living, but we don't do it for those who have departed, and even going into obituaries. The whole process of obituaries was to celebrate the life of someone, to, give them their accolades. Like, this person was hardworking, blah, blah, blah. So, like I said, in doing that, you have allowed the spirit to be released and to go on and do what they need to do. But like I said, a lot of people don't understand that process. They're so bounded by religion. They're so, that they don't understand that process. And unfortunately, there's deceased loved ones don't make it to the other side. The deceased loved ones don't make it and grow into a higher place. They stay in the same place, and they wonder why their lineage line is stuck. Like, maybe it's because when your relatives go or people passed on, nobody gave them the proper releasing. People start fighting over bullshit, putting out that confusion. Well, Mama was here, she would have whooped your ass. Like that shit right there. And just throwing up that energy and creating issues in the spirit world. And that's what it is. So yes, honey. Let me go up. I want to see some else, y'all. I'm going to really try to not stay here past 5:30. Y'all. It's 4:50 right now. Can I go, baby, before 5:30, honey? Ancestor DNA results has been on my mind, and it's because you say Pele is over me. Even if African American may have known about Pele, they weren't worshiping her. Well, of course. And we know, Jay, we know that you're Polynesian. We know that. A lot of, Californian people, Washington, there was a continent over here in the Pacific Ocean. And a lot of, us, we're descendants of that continent. And even though our ancestors migrated out to Oklahoma and Arkansas and all this good stuff, right? Because when it sunk, but we still found our place back. We still came back here. So definitely you're connected to Polynesian people and Aboriginal people. Let's say Aboriginal people. You're definitely connected to Aboriginal people. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of Wulevuku Shavik Mop in you. Not playing. And too, going to this, Jay, your dad is Puerto Rican. And a lot of people don't know there's a real powerful history about Puerto Ricans in Hawaii. People do not know this. And of course, I don't think you would notice if you're not Puerto Rican or not part of that culture. But a lot of Puerto Ricans actually came into, when we're talking about West Coast and other parts, because they were brought into Hawaii to work on the sugarcane field, honey. They were handling the sugar canes, doing all the good tea. So yes, you definitely, like I said, yes, you definitely, Californian, Caribbean, particularly Puerto Rican roots, honey, you definitely is connected to Polynesian Hawaiians, and I guarantee you they love you as well. And they may even say, you look a little Samoan. My brother looks very Polynesian. Like people assume, people used to think I was black and Thai, like all the time, like black hair, when I slim on down, honey, when I be snatched, they be like, you black and Thai? But my brother, my younger brother, they swear up and down, they think that he is Asian, like Polynesian. Like his hair is real thick, real curly, really, really thick and curly. And his eyes are very much like more, more chinky. And his nose is very flat. My nose, I got a little pointed nose, honey. Yeah. But his nose is very flat and same dimensions, but just flat. So they assume that he's Polynesian. All up and down. I kid you not, all the time. He actually had a girlfriend that used to like him because she thought he was Samoan or something. And I was just like, did you think you're Samoan? Uh-huh. Yes, honey. Yes, I like when you talk about health. Come on, honey. Yes, come on. Okay, let me read this. You've been choices about material wealth, but I noticed the housing market is slowing down, and I heard jobs are laying people off, and I've been feeling a shift for a while. So the financial cycle is about, well, there you go. Yes, Taurus deals with finances, the domestics. This is why Oshun, if people didn't know, Oshun is also connected to the zodiac of Taurus because that is luxury, that is beauty, that is domestics. Taurus is like fine things. If you have Taurus people that admire you, respect you, and have great love for you, you should definitely take that as a compliment. Tauruses are one of the most perfectionist type of person. I think Sagittarius are also along that line, but Tauruses are very, very perfectionist, and a challenge for Taurus people are usually pleasing, trying to please other people, and I gotta let people know that I'm the best, and you don't. So don't kill yourself over that. But of course, they can't help it because they're ruled by Venus, and of course, a lot of spirits that are with people in that zodiac deals with love and image and beauty and oh God, and it should, we definitely love that. Aphrodite in full effect, Oshun in full effect, Athena in full effect. Definitely. We all need a Taurus in our life, honey. Yes, we do. Not to mention they freaky. Al. Okay. Yes, there's never a lack. People must make themselves relevant in order to stand up forefront. I know that's right. You have to. Yes, you have to make yourself and keep yourself relevant, but stay true to yourself in the process. Don't fuck around and be fake. Because at the end of the day, when that bubble bursts again, people are gonna say, "Bitch, you were fake from the get go. Bitch, we knew you were fake. We knew it." And you don't want that. Keep it real, honey. Yes, you incarnate into your bloodline, so that means one of your ancestors have a wine of that. That's correct. You do incarnate in your bloodline, but it can pull from many things. Just like some of us out there, some of us who knows about our lineage line being mixed. You may have a ancestor, and I'm aware of mine. Well, let's talk about it. Can we talk about it for a minute? So we had an ancestor who was very similar to myself. I actually wanted to find pictures of her. It was a woman, and she was very much into doing stuff. And from what I did research on, and one of my cousins did research on, she was actually a lawyer. And I'm like, bitch, I wanted to be a paralegal. Like, that was my honesty. When I was in high school and we did an graduation by exhibition, like you had to exhibit what you learned in school and what you're going to do. I did a seminar. And was asking for donations. It's like, I want to be a lawyer, but let me start off as a paralegal first. I need $3,500 to get me going. Who got it? You got 3,000, you got 500. So anyway, but going into that, I even look like her in a sense of she was full-blooded native, very, very darker than me. But going into my family, like I said, I'm the darkest, even out of my siblings. All my siblings are high yellow and piss color. I'm the darkest, but I look the most like my mother. Like The rest of them resemble my mother in a way, but I look very identical to my mama. And it's real crazy. I look very identical to her. Even like going into younger pictures, like it's a lot of similarity there. And like I said, even going into people outside of me, I just brought me up as an example. You may have a child, and some of y'all got in trouble for this because you had a baby with another black man, and your child came out looking Hispanic or something, and he's like, "What? You been fucking my boys?" He thought you had sex with Ruben or Rudy or Pablo, or he thought you had one of those. But he probably thought you had Matthew for a minute, honey. He didn't know, and then come to find out that child was really his, and he's like, "Well, how the fuck did we have a light baby like that? Because we both dark." But he forgot that DNA pulls, and you can go back 7 generations. So one of y'all had a grandmama or grandfather who's coming through again, and they blessed you with that light and bright baby. And in my case, of my parents, they were blessed with this dark, smooth, melt in your mouth and your hands type of motherfucker. Who you doing, honey? That nutmeg, that cinnamon, that orange peel. Who you doing? That cloves. You better catch that tea right there, bitch. That cayenne. I got a little bit of cayenne up in me too, huh? Do I got a little bit of cayenne up in me? Y'all see that red up in there? I got some cayenne up in me, Y'all see my veins up in there, honey? Y'all see my little veins up in there, honey? Yeah, y'all see those blue veins, honey? I got some cayenne up in me too, girl. You better get into it. Now, my siblings, on the other hand, honey, they were just what? Yellow and yellow and yellow. And you can see everything on them, honey. Wrinkles, if they had acne, bitch, it all showed up. I said, bitch, on this skin, honey, we could have some tea, but you really can't see it. Like, I got a scar there, 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 a scar there, a scar, bitch, you can't see it because my skin is so brown. Yeah, my melanin popping. Let me stop. Yes, honey. Yes, honey. Bunch of people have no idea what they're doing. That's why, come on, Key. Key, are you one of those people? Come on through, Key. Hey, Rose. Hey, Love Me Fro. Hey, Melly. Hey, listen, y'all, for those, honestly, I didn't see y'all the last video. Listen, for those who are in this class, please bear with me. I'm sure that you guys are very, caring. We have been working on some very serious casework. And I think this is emergency month, honey. People have been popping up and showing up for some emergency teas. So in the process, I have to really get in. When I tell y'all really get in, so, this week, I promise, we will go over your specialties. For those who have taken the Silent Wednesday class, we'll go over your specialties this week. And what you picked, and we'll go over the good stuff. So yes, this week for sure, okay? Yes, honey. Well, what's your favorite season? Oh, no, that's right. So you believe a lot of Black people and white people have a lot of unrested spirits because we don't light candles and make sure that they're peaceful. Of course. And not just white or Black. There are even some Asians who brought on the American culture. And see, that's what I love about Asians. My past lives and my memories of my past lives in certain parts of Asia are really vague. I feel like at one point in time, and this is a memory that comes up for me, that I lived in a part of Asia where there was a lot of bad snakes in waters, and we actually would fight these damn waters. And I feel like we lost a lot of relatives with these fucking waters. So anyway, Asians, all of them, Thai, Vietnamese, Lao, Cambodian, all of them, they know how to venerate their ancestors and they prepare things for their ancestors. And some of their cultures, they actually, keep that bed empty or that room empty and bring food in there, bring gifts in there. And even, some of us do this as well, the non-Asian people. So yes, a lot of people who do not pay their respects to their ancestors or the people that have passed on and light candles for them and say prayers to them. Because even if you don't want to light a candle, you don't know what's going on. Your dad probably have a hard time letting go of you, passing on, and he's worried about you. So why not say a prayer and say, Daddy, I'm okay. You can go ahead and be with the bees and blah, 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 and fly high and go up there and kiss mama, boo, boo, boo. Why not? So it doesn't hurt to say a prayer or light a candle. But a lot of people, they get so stuck on the bullshit, especially you black and white folks. I talk about it, bitch. I know black folks and white folks, bitch. They in my family, bitch. I know them. You white folk and you black folk, y'all get, well, I mean, I'm trying to figure out if they got any hidden money. You know about mama. She had that money, didn't she? Oh, that, like, girl, that's the first thing motherfuckers talk about is motherfucking money. Bitch. Bitch, you can pass on tomorrow, bitch. What you so concerned about that money for, bitch? Honey, and if she didn't want you to have when she was alive, what makes you think she wanted you to have when you did? To be honest with you, because at the end of the day, bitch, a lot of people are somebody's beneficiary, and you think that they're gonna be telling you, yeah, mama has the money, she hid it, bitch. Your mama told somebody about that money, and they got it. So, bitch, obviously Big Mama didn't tell you about it because she didn't want your ass to have it. So it's like they get so caught up in that and then just fight over bullshit and, well, daddy said and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, honey, like, really? This is not even about you. This process is about you healing, but you're gonna get over it, right? But this is your time to celebrate the life that once was and to pay respects and to be there. And while you're here, allow that door to open. Because I keep telling people in the physical body, you have the opportunity to be in this realm, right? Which is where all the spirits are trying to come. That's why the demons got jealous of humans. That's why Satan got jealous of humans, because there's a process that human beings or people who ever have had the ability to be human go through that certain spirits cannot go through because they don't have a soul, right? So you are at this point where you're able to do that and you're not doing it. You focus on bullshit. And as I said, I can't do it. When my sister went, that's the most recent one that passed on, you know, I needed some time alone. I was like, honey, I can't do it. Come over. No, I can't do it because that's what y'all focused on. The deceased is not worried about y'all drinking in their memoriam or smoking in their memoriam or playing their favorite song. Like, they're not worried about that. That's for you to find peace. That's what connects you to the dearly departed. But they're moving on to bigger and better things, especially there was somebody who had great power in the physical and the spiritual world, like my sister, you know, honey, they're not concerned with that shit. They did it because they knew that's what made you happy. They drunk because they knew you loved drinking. They were there for you. They loved you. They wanted to bring joy to your life. And that's what they were doing. And now they're gone, bitch. They're on to bigger and better things. They're not thinking about that shit, girl. Where they're at right now, they don't give a fuck about drinking. All they're caring about is their next lesson. And if they're done with their lessons, now they're thinking about how they can help the next motherfucker to come on up. Can we talk about that? Okay. So that's what the problem is with a lot of black folks, a lot of white folks. And I think going into the sickness and the turmoil within the black community, I think that a lot of it, and if I can I talk about it? If y'all want me to talk about it, I want to talk about it. Yeah, maybe I want me to talk about it. But I think a lot of that is self-inflicted. And I think that there is a healing that has to take place. And I think that while you're looking on the outside, worrying about Tom, Dick, and Harry and Uncle Bob and the man's son, his wife, his son, you need to look on the inside and figure out what you've done to yourself. And when I say yourself, what you've done for the person that you're looking at in the motherfucking mirror. Because at the end of the day, even right now, a lot of us, we have shit going on and we're not worried about our own shit. We worried about the next bitch. We want to go look up celebrity gossip. If Tamar Braxton is going to fight her sister Trina, you know, we worried about that shit. We're not worried about the fact is that we might get evicted tomorrow. We're not concerned about the fact is that we have issues within our generations that all of our ancestors have not done thing, and now we got children. We're not worried about our damn kids, to be honest with you. We worry, but we're not worried. We're worried about whether or not our son or daughter gonna be gay or not. Worried about whether or not if I can have another baby by this nigga to keep him. Like, that's what we concerned with. And that's the motherfucking problem. So now you're creating a new generation of motherfuckers that are self-hating and need a motherfucking healing. And instead of them reflecting, they then push it out again. They don't like because they got our foot on our neck. The white man never let us get by. And it's just like, what? I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad people like Maya Angelou and that's just one person. But even these wealthy, well-established black folks out there in Detroit or we should say Michigan and in Bel Air, in Baldwin Hills, and over there in Maryland, in Philly, and all that good stuff, where they have upper echelon Black folks that are successful, honey, own businesses. And no, bitch, you ain't gonna meet them, bitch, because girl, to them, honey, they say, bitch, we don't let our bloodline mingle with ignorant motherfuckers that are too blind to wake up to their own bullshit. So it's like, girl, you tell them about the white man having his foot on their neck, because obviously the foot ain't working. Obviously the foot ain't that damn tight, because mama, they got more shit that you could ever get. Bitch, they on horses, they on property, bitch. And in fact, some of y'all so damn dumb, the white man, bitch, some of these businesses that y'all do shit with is owned by Black folks. But y'all out here talking about the white man keeping y'all down. Like, bitch, you work for a company that's owned by Black people. So what you trying to say? Like, girl, you better wake up, honey. People think I have Asian in me because of my tight eyes, but that's my Native American. I know that's right, honey. And some people don't know this neither. Some Native Americans are actually very Asiatic, kind of. They're very much Asian-ish. So if you have Native American in you, more than likely you have Asian in you as well. Because, the root we say the Native Americans that are being shown publicly are actually part white, part Asian. Can we talk about it? Yeah, but of course we know Native Americans are dark, light, chinky, not chinky. Some Americans have round eyes, round lips, but people don't know that. So you more than likely do got Asian up in you, Key. Yes, honey. It's Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, spiritual death, while physical. Of course, yes. Just like dementia, going into dementia. Dementia is someone who is stuck within the dimensions. And I told y'all my sister was a caregiver, and one of her people died 2 years ago. And the lady was on her way out. She had dementia and her body was breaking down. And the lady would always tell my sister, the rainbow chariot is going to come and get me one day. And my sister actually called me. And this is not funny, but it is, because I thought my sister was trying to read somebody. And she said, girl, what the fuck is a rainbow chariot? And I was like, bitch, let me tell you something, bitch. Don't be calling my motherfucking phone talking about no damn rainbow chariot, bitch. What the fuck are you trying to say? Bitch. But this lady really was saying that there was a rainbow chariot and that there's a rainbow ride that you take in order to go into heaven. And I kid y'all not, a day before she died, I feel like I told y'all this story. A day before she died, she acted like the phone rung. She picked up the phone. Hello? Oh, yeah. Okay. Boo, boo, boo. So my sister go in the room and the other caregiver go in the room. And matter of fact, this is 2 days before she died, because my sister last day was 2 days before she died. And then my sister's friend ended up working there the day that the lady died, because they both were doing in-home care and all the good stuff. So 2 days before, pick up the phone, Yahoo, blah, 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 blah. She acted like she on the phone. My sister and the other worker go in there. And she was like, is everything okay? And lady's like, oh, yeah, I just got off the phone with my husband. He said the rainbow people are going to be coming to get me soon. Okay. So then the next day, my sister friend, which I talked to them both, right? My sister will call me, her friend will call me. I still talk to her friend. She's telling me about this lady. I said, yeah, she told me that this woman was talking about a rainbow chariot people. And the person called her husband called her. And I was like, but I never asked, is her husband dead? And she was like, yeah, her husband's been dead for about 10 years now. So I was like, oh shit, okay. So literally, I kid y'all not, a day after that, the lady died. But the day before she died, she said, oh, I need y'all to stand by the phone because they're going to be calling me very soon. And she would have died the next day. So dementia, people that have dementia, I definitely, because people think that schizophrenia and bipolarism and multi-personality disorder are people that are stuck in dimensions. No, bitch, that's not dementia at all, okay? Multi-personality disorder is very different from what dementia is. And those who are trying to insinuate that, bitch, like, come on now, okay? So dementia is literally people that are operating in multiple dimensions. And they're literally, some of them who have dementia, they literally don't remember they got kids. They'll be like, bitch, who you? Like, for real. So with that, like I said, they see their life before they even had kids. Like, they're aware of who they are. Now, if you have somebody with dementia, what do you look like? They're not going to be a dark woman telling you that they're a white woman, like blue eyes, blonde hair. And you're like, what the fuck? That's not going to happen. They're going to tell you exactly who they are, but they may not know exactly who you are. Okay. So they're slipping consciously into another dimension, and they might act or react that dimension. So yes, like I said, with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, is Parkinson's the one when they shake and stuff? I don't think that's connected to Alzheimer's. No, I think that's the nervous system. And we know that the nervous system is in essence who you really are, because we talk about hair, skin, and nails. That's your central nervous system. Can we talk about that? How you doing? So yes, Alzheimer's, dementia, anything with your psyche slipping into something else and coming back in, is spiritual. Now, going to even into, because I know I mentioned that multi-personality, schizophrenia, bipolar, that right there on the flip side deals with some spirit of some sort, right? Because people who have seen this spiritually, we've talked about this. Some of y'all are in here right now. There's someone out there who does not like me. Cinnamon, smell cinnamon. So good, y'all. Smell cinnamon right now. But there is a lady who does not like me, and people are like, yeah, when I would look at her, I'll see the spirit behind her sucking life from her. That's what happens when you have multi-personality. Can we talk about that for a minute? When you have multi-personality disorder, you have any type of higher self blockage. You're dealing with chakras like galactic, stellar, gateway. You're dealing with higher up chakras. That's why I tell people, chakras are not only on your body. You got chakras over here. You got chakras over here. You got chakras beneath. You got chakras over here. Like there's just a whole bunch of points around you, but people only talk about the 7 most points because those are the only ones that they can comprehend. Okay, so when you open yourself up to spiritual gifts, and this is why it's so important to be mindful about what spiritual work you do and who you go to get work done with and what you're Googling. Because a lot of y'all Google shit and y'all think y'all doing shit because you're Googling shit and you don't know what doors you're opening. You don't know what that energy is like, bitch. That door come flying through and the spirits come letting you have it, bitch. And you're like, what? Oh, what's going on? And you have a mental breakdown, bitch, to where you forget shit. Like I've seen it. That's why I see these spirituals on here. I'm like, they're on their way out. Like if it's not there, they're on their way getting there. Because some of them, I even noticed too, they got people in the room with them, like coaching them, like, because they're losing their way. They're letting these spirits in. These spirits are blocking their creativity or their higher self. But anyway, so what happens? what happens? Shit. I swallowed and I choked, excuse me. What happens is, bitch, fuck you. You didn't do that, bitch. But anyway, so what happens is they open themselves up and you literally start to channel energy within your body. You start evoking, right? You're pulling energy in or you're pushing energy out and you're just letting shit come in all different which ways. These spirits that know that you don't know what you're doing will come in and they will block these gateways. They will block these entry points. And these entry points are the access of your higher self or the spirits that give you your higher information, right? You can talk about ancestry too. And it starts to block. So it creates like a web of darkness and it starts sucking shit from you. And they start blocking the way to where shit is coming through and you think it's accurate information, but in fact, it's regurgitated and it's shit that's being fed down to you. And anybody who calls themselves a Reiki master, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because the Reiki master, we're not talking about the practical, we're talking about the theory as well. When you learn about Reiki energy and how that even works, you know about the energy fields and how things operate, and you're aware of how spirits could come in and actually block and stop things and channel, use you as a channeler for things that are not for the greater good. So you're out here spewing out confusion or negative energy, and that's what's going on. So, yeah, you'd ask for that, but I get it to you. What are you doing, Morgan Horses? What is that? The first Black college was established in 1837 before slavery ended. Black folks been acquiring college degrees since 1841. Come on, honey. How you doing? Come on. People are always mistaking me for South American, but my mom is Caribbean. I know that's right, honey. Well, South America is like America, but more established, Quavi. North America is South America is beautiful. Yes, yes, I would definitely. I could see me. See, I don't know what the fuck I want. I could see me marrying a South American man who, you know, possibly from Europe. Who knows? But I could see that. South America is so rich in culture and, just, ooh, everything is just so rich down there. The Colombians, the Venezuelans, Uruguayans, the Chileans, the Brazilians, the Arubians, Piscatolians, all these things. So they're just so exotic. They're so beautiful. And, hey, invite me over. I'll come on over there. But like I said, yes, ain't nothing wrong with that. Let them mistake you for being South America. Because, of course, people who are Caribbean have South American blood, Quavi. Yes, yes, honey. South America was established and motherfuckers migrated up. Can we talk about it? There are natives of the Caribbean that originated in South America. You have the Desana tribe, Desana. That's one of them. Taino, Arawak, a whole bunch of T. But you have tribes of natives, aboriginals that actually migrated on up, right? And we didn't even talk about them originating in Australia. Uh-huh. You know that, did you? So, not long ago, once upon a time, not long ago, I know we're not singing that Mariah Lynn song, everything was connected, So, like I said, yes, I could definitely see that you're Caribbean, but your parents or people are thinking that you're South American. Yeah, your ancestors might be South American. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yes. You might have a Pakistani ancestor too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You might have a Gouda ancestor. Ain't nothing wrong with that neither, honey. Gouda. Anyway, yes, I love my Pakistani people. Call me. But anyway, y'all, it is now 5:19, and y'all, I had a long day. But I promised that I would do a sit down with you guys today, and I wanted to keep my promise. And today is going to be my off day. I'm going to be making some phone calls today. And it's my off day, though, because somebody was like, bitch, you don't have an off day. And your off day, you still do shit. What I mean by that is that nothing is planned today. Like, I'm still going to do shit, but I'm not doing shit. You get that? So I'm going to, try to really sleep in and, take my ass on over there, do what I need to do, and make some phone calls today. And yeah. And I might come back and do another live. I don't know. And yeah, honey. So I guess that's it, honey. I guess that's it, honey. Yes. No more questions. Okay. Yes. 2aspiritedmystic8@gmail.com. 2aspiritedmystic8.blogspot.com, honey. Yes, bitch. Y'all see that, bitch? I'm tired, honey. Yes, it's slowly hitting my ass. But 2aspiritedmystic8@gmail.com, 2aspiritedmystic.blogspot.com. And yes, like I said, I will be back with another video. If not today, we'll be back on Tuesday. And if not Tuesday, possibly Wednesday. Nope, Wednesday I'm doing something. Okay, yeah. So maybe Tuesday we'll come back and do something. And I promised someone something, so we're probably gonna do that. I promised someone a little something. And we're probably gonna do that. Can we do that? Can we do that, honey? I promised somebody a little something. A little something. Uh-oh. I don't know what I did with something. But anyway, you too, Quavi. Thank you so much for stopping by. And, Tasha Lowe saying this, when you know better, you do better. Everyone is not a simp-minded individual. Some of us have brains of our own to think for ourselves. And this is why we know about a Black college being established before slavery was abolished. This is why we know about, Blacks being the original owners of slaves and then teaching the white folks how to own slaves, slave trade. Let's talk about it. Then we know exactly how the true really was, how there was really only 20 slaves and everybody else was Mongoloids, Native Americans, all that good stuff, honey, Black Irishes, and they got you that all the slaves are African only. There's a reason why that. But like I said, if you have a brain of your own and or you're connected to your roots, you know exactly what it is that you need to know. Maybe go to the local library. Some of y'all got libraries. I think y'all haven't even went out to your library read. Some people out there talk about the history of their city and their towns, and the shit they talk about is on Wikipedia. I'm like, bitch, if you're from that city, can't you go to that public library and read about some secret shit they're not talking about in public? Like, who was the first woman to open up a college there? Like, what was the original name of that city before that name of that city? Because every city had a different name when I was city. But some cities were actually renamed, like my city. It was renamed. It was something totally different. But yes, anyway. Bye-bye. Thank y'all for stopping by here, honey. Love and light to you all. Yes, you can hit me up, like I said, at twitchpittermissade@gmail.com. Check out my blog for twitchpittermissade.blogspot.com. And we got some more stuff to come in. More stuff coming. I just wanted to lightly go over, the John Singleton stuff. And, of course, like I said, when more comes to the surface, and if it does not come, we will definitely still talk about it because I do want to give you a recap. And I promise I won't go in because I kid you not, with the other stuff I did with that bitch, I learned a motherfucking lesson. Bitch, go in and let it have, but kind of keep, keep a little control, a little composure. So anyway, bye everybody.